think the crumpled notes just make this,
Yeah, we are live. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
the Instagram. Oh well, whatever. Fuck it.
Didn't you do it? No, you did do it. I put it in.
I've just closed it on my side, so accidentally.
Okay.
Popcorn ready, D in hand, and get the Kleenex out, of course, because we've got lots to talk about today, gents. We couldn't disappoint. We've been getting good feedback from you guys about these streams. You seem to like hearing us monologue on, waffle on in the mornings for a good hour. So if that's the case, and you would like to see particular topics covered, please comment beneath the streams, either on my channel, me and Les's channel, Tusk and the Team, or Troy's channel, Real Troy Francis. Oh no,
the channel's Real Troy Francis, I think, but they'll find it. But interestingly, I was doing some clips this morning. I was going through, because I'm scheduling a bunch of clips for the week, and I was going through one of our live streams, and the programmer picked some clips talking about crisps. So I've scheduled them for later in the week. So there's going to be a few clips going out actually talking about what's the best crisps that you like from the tuck shop back at school. So
I've
quality content.
Well, just to add to that, I forgot a couple of obvious ones. McCoy's, which were good, the real McCoy, those crinkly ones. Wheat crunchies, I think we covered. Spicy tomato, and of course Monster Munch or Space Raiders, the 10p a pack.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, I always quite like the thin ones, though. I like things like I said, Smith's crisps.
Discos. Before Pringles came, Disco. It was
Discos. I still really like Discos, actually. You can still buy them. I get every so often I buy a packet, and they're really strong. They're like salt and vinegar, but it's like to the max, blows your head off. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody's put in an option here. Golden Wonder, the grandfather of them all.
Golden Wonder. I need to Google that because I can't actually remember what the fuck that is.
I vaguely remember Golden Wonder, but I don't remember them being that.
Golden Wonder. Crisp. It's blatantly a sex move. I mean, there's no way Golden Wonder car.
I vaguely remember them, but this guy must be getting on a bit because I vaguely remember them.
I mean, I don't. These don't. I mean, this was before my time. Mr. Jenkins's time, possibly, but not mine. I mean, there's no way. I don't remember these at all.
I don't remember them being mind-blowing, to be honest. I quite like, like you said, the crinkled ones, though, as well.
Anything crinkles.
McCoy's,
very good. Anything crinkled, very, very tasty. They've actually got ketchup flavored. So I went through a stage of buying. Did you ever get into Doritos, the chili ones?
Yeah, I like that.
They're good, and they've got weirdly in Brazil because I don't really like spice. They've got that red Doritos, but they're ketchup flavored. So I bought a pack just to try. I was a bit kind of forcing them down, but I wasn't a big fan. I
quite like Lay's as well. You get that in a lot of countries.
Is that the one that melts in your mouth? Is that like Skips?
No, they're kind of like Walkers, like regular crisps, but they call.
Oh yes, I know. Yes, Skips was shit. They kind of dissolve. They were rough. I didn't rate those. They were a bit niche. People loved them or hated them. They kind of they dissolve in your mouth, kind of soft. Wasn't a fan of those.
What about those prawn cocktail ones? Did you?
Yeah, that was Skips, wasn't it? Prawn cocktail Skips.
Oh, was it? Okay,
I think so.
What's the nostalgia? What's the cheese one? The really sort of
what was just the cheese was just cheese flavor or cheese and onion?
No, I think it was cheese. I just trying to remember.
Really? It was typically the industry standard was salt and vinegar plain or salt plain, and then cheese and onion.
Quavers.
Oh, there was a great headline, wasn't it? I've got to bring this up. It was on the I sucked off a dog for a pack of Quavers. What was that kind of jokey newspaper like the Sunday Sport? Yeah. I sucked off a dog for a pack of Quavers. For a $5 and a pack of Quavers. Quavers. They weren't bad. They were kind of they were pretty good. 10 years ago, Lotto made me a millionaire. Now I suck off dogs for Quavers. If you Google that, you'll see all sorts of the bloke's hilarious. He looks like Jack Nicholson, actually, just kind of like slumped over, smoking a fag. Oy. Right. Anyway, we digress. The usual nonsense. So, what's on the agenda for today, Mr. Francis?
Well, you read the title because you've got it, and I can never see the full thing on my screen.
Yes, we're going to have to, as well as Client Wigfield, I think we need to throw you in for the laser eye surgery as well, don't we?
Well, possibly. I think my eyesight has got worse, actually.
One of the greatest things I ever did before getting into all this stuff, of course, was get laser. Brilliant. 4K back in the day, and I've got perfect vision. And because I was never going to wear glasses, and I didn't like contacts after a while because they irritated my eyes. But laser was brilliant. I put it off for about 5 years because I was scared.
I might have to do it. I might have to do it.
It's a godsend. I couldn't recommend it highly enough. You could go to my guy as well. He'll give you a discount. One of the top guys in London.
Okay.
Here we go.
Just got that up on the screen, by the way, for people who've been following.
He does look like Jack Nicholson, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The Lotto
that was a great newspaper.
Yeah, brilliant. With page 3. Page 3 back in the day.
Well, they had I think they had a page 3 as well. The page 3 was mainly the Sun, but I think they had.
Did they phase that out?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, the fucking wokosphere. I mean, there's all pleasures taken from the Anglosphere. Jesus.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
the title is "Why Nice Guys Lose and Why Dark Men Win," and we don't mean dark as in color, dark as in, although dark as in colored men win probably as well with some women, especially small blondes. Yeah. But we mean dark.
Just to be super. We're all
operating in the wokosphere now. We can't. We've got to cover all bases, right? So as usual, we've come up with some key points. We will run through those and perhaps go off on a segue. Finish with parish notices and call it a day. So. Yeah. The clean version is, just to kind of reiterate, nice guys lose because they seek approval. Dark men win because they don't need it. So it's not about being this cliched Mark Manson stuff. Not Mark Manson. Who was the guy? Charles Manson. Is it Charles Manson? cult-like leader. Who was the guy that got locked up?
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson, yeah. You don't need to be like him, but you just need to not be nice. And the opposite of nice isn't total dickhead. It's charming, but goes for what the fuck he wants and prioritizes his own needs, essentially. But I think there's the same old tendency with guys. The issue is, you think we say, right, stop being so nice, and then they flip into this cliched, very cold, aloof dick. They think they have to be that guy, and you don't. Right? We're not saying you want to be charming to be around. You want to draw people in with your energy. But you also want to prioritize your own needs.
Yeah, I think one of the problems with this stuff is that a lot of guys who were attracted to the dating advice scene online are probably, there's a contingent of them who are a bit neurodivergent. Right. And so they see things as being very black and white. And then that reflects, and then some of those guys went on to become dating coaches and create their own content. And they present things as very black and white. And actually, all of this stuff is incredibly nuanced, including this sort of dark triad aspects of things. Because, you're right. And then guys will misinterpret that and think, right, I've just got to be this sort of really silent, sort of evil kind of dick. And that is just not going to work for you in most cases.
Did you ever flick into that phase? Did you kind of go the other way too much, or did you always kind of calibrate it correctly? Did you see it as, right, I've got to be a dick now? Was that the kind of, because this is before the day, before you got into this, when, God knows, I mean, it's been a while, but
1927 I first got it.
During the Prohibition, which straight after the US, there was but there wasn't the resources necessarily, was there, when you first started? And even
but you're like, I think my learning of it, if you like, was probably not massively dissimilar to you, because there wasn't really a lot of content, or I wasn't looking at a lot of content in the first bit, and then I only really started looking at actual content when the game came out, and then after that, so my resources are similar to yours. So I was reading things like, again, Chateau Heartiste, and he was talking about the jerk boy thing. And I think I really got that. I think my advantage was I actually got it, unlike a lot of these other people who sort of don't and misinterpret it. Because when you read those articles, what he's saying is, it's not being a super, super evil guy. It's being somebody who's sort of charmingly, roguish, isn't it? And I just I read that, I completely got it. I was like, oh, right, okay. So I don't think I ever went into, there were certainly times when I upped the ante on that, maybe more than I would now. But I don't think I ever went into a completely sort of trying to be this dark edgelord phase, because I understood what people were talking about in those articles.
Yeah, he frames it well, doesn't he? Jerk boy. He actually called it jerk boy charisma. So you're being a bit dark, but you've got charisma. So you're not being this total kind of aloof, sitting in the corner by yourself. That's not what they're talking about here.
No. No. And there was also a lot of talk about cocky funny, wasn't there? Which may have come from, was it Ross Jeffries or one of those people?
David Giangelo.
Yeah. So I've been aware of that. So again, I kind of got it because it's like, yeah, you're funny, but you're also a bit cocky as well. Like I kind of just got what they were saying. And so the jerk boy thing was like an extension of that, I suppose. So
you also see it. You see it in the ecosystem, don't you? I mean, there were a couple of guys. Well, one who you always fondly bring up. You remember him getting sucked off through the fence for some reason.
Oh,
and the other one, the key details, and it wasn't for a pack of quavers. It was for the love of the game. The girl was doing it, but we saw these archetypes. Most guys, if you remember back to your school days, wherever that may be, there's probably one or two guys who fitted the archetype of the jerk boy charisma. So they weren't total knobs, probably. They may have been a rebel without a cause who was very angry, who may have got laid as well. But the general archetype for the successful at school days was that kind of cocky, funny. He's a bit of a rebel. That guy the girls loved. And you think back, okay, what did he encompass? It's probably this idea of jerk boy charisma. He may have been doing it naturally, of course. He probably was. Because at that stage, it wasn't learned game. It was learned through circumstance, but it would come across as natural for those who are kind of clueless and being like, oh, fuck, how does he get laid, right?
Yeah, I've got a friend who's very like that, actually. Well, I've known several people naturally like this, but there's a guy that I know to this day who he's just got that thing about him. It's hard to encapsulate, but he just sort of, and I've seen him interact with girls, and it's not like he's not negging them. It's not like he's necessarily saying negative stuff. But the key thing I would say with him is he just talks about what he wants to talk about. Like I was once with him, and we were talking to some girl who was quite attractive, and he was talking about how his dog shits in the woods when he takes it for a walk in the morning, and it's like, it's not the kind of thing you'd necessarily talk about if you were super bothered about impressing that girl. Do you know what I mean? So that's a stupid example. I'm not saying, right, so the new pickup line is talk about dog shit. Yeah. It's obviously it's not. But what I'm saying is that he just doesn't care. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's one manifestation of it. You know, he'll just talk
about what's his kind of so how old is he? Is he married? Is he just
I mean, no, we're all failures in the in the conventional. No, he's about my age, and to be fair, I don't think he really gets a lot of action these days. But he was very good looking. He's a decent looking guy, quite alpha in the kind of traditional sense. You know, quite not huge, but you know, quite sort of muscular sort of guy. He studied acting, but he's also got this quite rough and ready side to him as well. So it's that perfect combination of things that women are just drawn to. But on top of that, he's also got the personality. He's not a people pleaser. I would say that's the key thing I would say about him.
I wonder why he's
and actually, also on top of that, there have been occasions when he has actually treated girls quite badly, because I know through stories that my other friend Rob has told me about him. He's done some pretty shady things, and I've sort of vaguely been aware of stuff that's happened. So he has actually been a dick in the genuine sense. But I'm talking not so much about that, but I'm talking about just his general demeanor when he's out and about meeting people. It's sort of he just doesn't really care what people think of him, you know, including attractive women.
Which is good, because often guys, we always joke that the game is really acting around a 1 as you would around a 10, right? Or acting around a 10 as you would around a 1. You just don't change because she's hot. And a lot of guys, they typically will start sitting up extra straight, eyes boggling, you know, changing Indian head movements. I mean, they'll start changing, but he doesn't change.
That's the key. Yeah, that's the key thing, I think. He's definitely got, I would say, a bit of a dark triad side to him. I mean, he's not as dark triad as the guy that I talked about in one of my books, and people still ask me about to this day, I think I called him Steve in the book, but he was like the proper dark triad guy. You know, he's like, oh, I want to rip her heart out and squeeze it, and you know, to actually take a real joy in treating women badly in the relationships he was in. He's not quite like that, but he's just very unconcerned about, she's a hot girl, so fucking what? I'm going to talk about my dog shitting in the woods. Like, he just doesn't care, you know? Whereas other guys would be like, oh, yes, you know, I go to Mykonos sometimes, do you? And try to impress them. Do you know what I mean?
What happened to, so just out of interest with this character, why is he not, he obviously, what if he's got all this, the attributes there to fuck, because he just lost his sex drive, or what's?
I think partly that. And also, I think, to be completely honest, because he knows what I do. I mean, I've known him for a long time. I rented a apartment off him for a while and stuff like that. So I know him quite well. Haven't seen him for a while, but I've seen him a couple of times around recently, and he knows what I do, and he knows what we teach and everything. But he just never does that. And I think to be brutally honest, I think he's aged out on the dating apps. You know, because I saw him the other night, and he was saying to me like, "Oh yeah, you know, the apps are shit these days, aren't they? You know, I can't never get anything on it." And he's a decent looking guy, but he's a decent looking guy who's 50. So you know, and he's one of those guys who he has. Occasionally when he does date someone, it's like, oh, she was 38, a couple of kids, you know, bit of weight on her, but you know, still not bad. That kind of thing. And it's a shame because, well, it's not a shame. I mean, who cares? But it's like he could be doing significantly better if he was doing the stuff that we teach.
Well, it's fascinating because he's got all the attributes. He's got the product there, doesn't he? But again, if you're not switched on, so you don't put yourself where you can optimize your sexual market value, i.e. fly to Colombia, fly to Brazil, go to Eastern Europe, you're trapped in the Anglosphere, you know, you're less attractive. And also, if you let your testosterone dip, right, hormone management. So it's you can have all the inner workings, but still not have a clue how to get paid. Be trapped on the dating apps. It's fascinating, isn't it?
I think some of these people just sort of age out because he doesn't help himself because he doesn't work. So he's got a bit of money coming in through various means, but not a lot. So he's got no cash. He lives in London. He never goes anywhere else. So and he's relying on dating apps. So everything is working against him. Although he did tell me, actually, he's not entirely reliant on dating apps because he did tell me the other night that he had met a girl and I think they'd, you know, probably slept together or whatever. And he said he did meet her just in a cafe or something. So he will do it a little bit, but he's not maxing it out. You know, it's probably more like she checked him out and he was like, "Oh, you're right, love," and then whatever, it went from there. But all I'm saying is he's not doing any of the stuff that we teach on any kind of consistent basis. And so he's stuck, you know, and I probably doesn't much want to get married anyway, can't afford it anyway, whatever. You know, it's a sad state of affairs, but that's what happens. It's kind of funny because people always say like, "Oh, you know, but what about your friends? You know, do you not have pressure on you to get married?" And I'm like, no, everybody I know is just a complete disaster. So I don't have any pressure on me whatsoever.
Well, and also just to play devil's advocate, smart men don't. I read an article once where it was quite an eligible bachelor, or that was the archetype writing it. It could have been a stage name, but the whole title was "Smart Men Don't Get Married."
Well, I mean, there's that.
And actually, Benicio del Toro, who's one of my favorite actors, for those who don't know who he is, he was in Sicario as the assassin. He's in Traffic, playing a similar role. Good actor, Cuban actor. He was asked in an interview, why aren't you get married? He was like, he must be 48, 49. He's like, why the fuck would I get married? That was a simple response. He rocks out with a smoking hot girlfriend who just shows up in a car. It's
well,
like,
yeah. I mean, I was always sort of like mystified by the idea, really, because I naively, when I was younger, and this was obviously going back a bit in my early 20s, I thought everyone was kind of over the marriage thing now. I was like, oh yeah, people like, who's going to do that anymore? Come on, it's like it's 1991 or whatever. Like, who's going to get?
Oasis are out. You got to roll with it.
And then I remember I worked at this company, and I remember one of the bosses from I was in Manchester. One of the bosses from London coming up and taking us out for a lunch, and I was 24 at the time. He turns to me and he's like, So Troy, are you married? And I'm like, I couldn't believe the question. I was literally like, what the fuck? What are you talking? Like, am I married? What the fuck? You know? And I sort of stand by that actually, because I think 24 is really for any guy is a little bit young to be. Even if you're going to do it, I think 24 is probably too young. But it was really weird to me that there was still this expectation out there, and it's still a bit weird to me today, to be honest. But like I say, a lot of people I know just didn't go down that route for various reasons, and so whatever, you know.
He may have, of course, been propositioning you if he sounded like that. Just checking, wasn't he?
Well,
checking for availability. Well, actually, really.
Yeah, actually. Well, yes. There's a yeah.
No, that's a story we won't get. That'll be saved for another day.
That'll be on the OnlyFans.
But just to clear up the other thread you opened with the very dark triad guy, Steve, would he fall into the very almost sadist? Did he actually enjoy kind of causing pain? Do you think in a psychological?
Yeah, I think he did from what some of the things that he said and what I observed of him. But you know, the joke is that he is married and he has got a kid, and he seems
really?
to be pretty, yeah. So it's I think he did the opposite arc of sort of doing all that stuff probably in his 20s and 30s, and then probably getting to a point of I just throwing this, you know, just want to settle down now. So I don't know. Everyone's got their own journey.
Did you see him? I mean, women would have picked up on the fact he obviously was a bit dark and maybe liked inflicting some pain, unless he hit it very well. But that probably, weirdly, guys find this interesting, but girls are often not put off by that.
No, I mean, if anything, they seem to be quite drawn to it. I mean, it was very well known because the other thing that he did, which I've never done, is he dated a lot of people actually in the workplace. I mean, again, this was going back 15 years or something. I mean, would you be able to even do that now? I'm not sure. But he dated quite a few women in the workplace or who worked in the same building as us. And they were very famous, sort of like, oh, he cheated on her, he dumped her, all this kind of thing. So women knew what it was about. There was no mystery to it. And I remember this girl, Lou, who was actually really attractive, really, really attractive girl, young girl. And she started there and she was like a rat up a drain pipe. You know, she was all over him. And there was no pretense. There was no secret that he was like, oh, he's just misunderstood. Maybe he's a really nice guy. Everyone knew what it was about, including her. But like I say, I mean, she was super mad for it. So mad for it.
This is what confuses guys, because I think they want to, as men, we want stability. We want an easy existence, but women don't crave that. Women just don't want to be bored. If you're doing shit stuff to women, it's still better than boring her. And that sounds controversial until you just realize that women get off on drama, uncertainty, tension, not the whole time, unless they're very red flaggish, and then you shouldn't really be. But all women, even if you consider them good girls and they're quite stable personality traits, still like drama. They still like uncertainty. Look at what they watch on TV, right? The mind games, the power games, the withdrawals, the ex cheating, the insinuation. It's all there, right? So this is the stream today. Really is focusing on this to try and clear up some myths, so you can actually apply this to your real life. So point one. Nice is often approval seeking in disguise. Most nice guys are not just kind, are not just kind. They are trying to be liked, trying to avoid rejection, trying to earn attraction. So their behavior is, if I do this, you'll like me. That's a weak position. People feel it instantly. So we've talked a lot about this, but covert contracts. So I'm going to help this girl with her ex and hopefully my dick will go in her. It's like, no. Do stuff. I travel around Brazil a lot, right? I'm wealthy compared to people. I will be kind. I'll give people a bit of money here and there if I need to, just on the street. But I'm not expecting anything back from it, right?
Yeah.
Although maybe if she was a young hot girl, I probably would be. Okay, so forget that example. Anyway, moving on to point number two. They try to hide what they actually want. Instead of expressing attraction, taking the lead, moving things forward, they stay vague, stay safe, stay indirect. So they get friendliness and politeness, but no desire. They also remove all tension. Nice guys try to keep things smooth, avoid discomfort, never risk offense. So interactions become flat, predictable, safe. Attraction needs tension, not comfort alone. Why do you think that confuses men so much? This idea of like women actually get off on tension.
Well, it's counterintuitive, isn't it? Really?
Because we want a smooth life, you mean? So they assume women want the same.
Because we want the opposite, really. We just want to have a quiet life for the most part. And again, I mean, I suppose with all of this, there's how much are we actually advising people? How far are we actually advising people to take it? I personally wouldn't advise people to actively go out and try and hurt people in the way that I think Steve did on, sometimes. I think that's taking it too far. But I think you've got to be aware of these dynamics at the very least.
But women like jealousy, right? So if I'm seeing a girl and I know she's into it, I will post a provocative photo as a WhatsApp status of me with another woman, or me could be with other women, because I know it will trigger her in a way that she's going to want me more. I'm not rubbing her in her face, but I'm playing the game, because I know that's what she responds to. So you kind of do want to inflict a bit of psychological pain or jealousy, because again, women get off on that. And it sounds controversial until you just start to see what they respond to. Again, the quote we always come back to, which clears this up, is it's not about moral forgivings either way. The market is amoral, but the Ross Jeffries quote on that TV show is perfect, summarize it perfectly, which is forget what women say they want, forget what women think they want. We just look at what women actually respond to. That's it. So see stuff, post a photo when you're seeing a few girls of you with a cocktail glass, maybe hand on another girl's hand, and see how quickly women respond to it that you're into. I bet you it drives up attraction, not segging away, And that's a small example. Point number four, nice guys overinvest too early. attention, validation, time before anything is earned. That's I need this to work, which lowers perceived value. You like the example of Mr. M, not the coach, the client we had in Bangkok, who basically just started to go and threw his entire life out the window. Let him move in, didn't he, after like a few days?
Yeah. So what was that point? Don't invest too early.
Yeah, just don't invest too early. Yeah, don't give your attention, validation, time too freely for someone you've just started seeing, because she's like, she wants to enter a high value man's life. That high value man is busy. He's on his mission to save the world. He's leveling up. You shouldn't have time to fucking just spend a week with her, watching shit in bed. Like it's nice to do that. I know it's nice to take your foot off the gas, man, and fucking chill. But she's thinking, this is weird. How has he suddenly thrown his entire like high value life out the window for me? I'm just an average girl. And we've just met, because women rarely think they're that hot, because then it's contextualized. You may think she's a stunner, but contextualized against all the stuff she sees on Instagram, these Russian models on yachts, celebrities in magazines, Victoria's Secret shows. She's not thinking she's that hot. Most women are not thinking they're that hot. So if this really high value guy has just thrown their whole life out the window for her, she's thinking, hold on, well, there's something fishy here. There's something suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just think it's, for many reasons, I just think it's a very bad idea to let somebody into that extent too quickly. Because also, as well, you just shouldn't be doing it because you don't know her. It is really early. You should have other stuff going on as well, and not least the fact that it will dent her attraction to you in some way.
100% agree. So a couple more points on this and we'll go on to the preferred dark version that you can incorporate. So number 5, they don't have boundaries. This is nice guys. Nice guys agree too much, accommodate too much, avoid conflict. So they lose respect, positioning. If you don't prioritize yourself, no one will. So Tomasi talks about this. You like to talk about this, making yourself your own mental point of origin. For guys that have just heard that for the first time, what does that mean for you if you're just summarizing it from your perspective? Making yourself your own mental point of origin. Well, is it just be a selfish fucker, or is it more to it? Well, and again, there's nothing wrong with that, because I think a lot of nice guys need to be a bit more selfish.
I think a lot of guys do need to be a bit more selfish. But it's not necessarily quite as heartless as that. I think it's more like, look, what I've got a very short time on this planet. I've got a finite number of years left on Earth. What do I actually want to do? What are my goals? What are my ambitions? What are my passions? What are the things I really want to do? And you should figure those out and then really prioritize those, and not just throw it all out the window because some girl comes into the picture. And look, it's very easy to do that. We've all done that, I'm sure, to some extent. We've certainly, I know I certainly have compromised on things that I actually wanted to do because there was a woman in the picture. But we should strive not to do that. So even if we do start seeing somebody, we should just bear in mind, okay, it's great that I'm spending time with this person. She's cool, but what is it? What's the bigger picture here? What do I actually want to achieve? And then just make sure that she's not impinging on those things. I don't think
moderation, isn't it? And you're right. Focus on what you want. And if your life is fucking boring and you need women to fill it, which is often a mistake we see guys, Steve in accounts, not the good Steve, I've had this before, this archetype of client in London. I'm just going to get into the day game stuff really hard. I'm just going to nail that, get a hot girl, then I'll make my life interesting. Because we analyze his life. He's like, well, I go to work, I do this IT job. It's pretty boring. Don't really like it. I sometimes hit the gym. I come home, watch Netflix on the weekend. It's like, bro, your life's fucking dull. And you're doing the reverse thing, which is you're trying to get jump the woman into your reality to make it good. It doesn't work like that. Women want to join an interesting reality, a man on his mission. They want to join that, but they don't want to make it the reality, right? So you've got to, a good way of doing this hypothetically is imagine women didn't exist and just think, right, how could I actually build a life filling it with shit I enjoy that energizes me, and do these stuff regularly. Like, I know for me, travel is very good. It opens my kind of mind. It puts life in perspective. I enjoy the adventure of going to new places, challenging myself a bit with that. I enjoy going to the gym as you do. So that's a staple every day, right? Learning languages, because I'm probably going to, end up in Brazil for a period of time. But other than that, there's also other languages to learn. Fighting, sparring, these random things, right? You've got to, and that's not even an extensive list, but that's just some stuff. Yeah. You've got to be enjoying self-amusement. You've got to be enjoying your own life experience, not relying on a woman. Because if you're enjoying it without her there, you're still going to enjoy it even more when she comes in.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for her to save you, which a lot of guys do, you're absolutely fucked, really.
Yeah.
Because the woman's going to sniff around for a bit, go, this guy's fucking dull. I'm off. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to hang out with Troy. Or, the bloke who gets sucked off for quavers. Or both. I'm going to get spit roasted by those two.
Well, we actually heard a story from a client, didn't we, where he basically was seeing this girl for a while, and she basically straight up said to him, "You're actually really boring," and he kind of rationalised it.
Of course, the ego rationalised it away.
Yeah,
But the reality is, a good way of doing this is zoom out. No, it's not just not the first person lens we live life through, but zoom out, look down at yourself, and just see what you do every day objectively. Just track it. Consciously what you do every day. James Clear, big fan of his work, he actually talks about this. He goes, look, just objectively track your habits and routines, what you do over, say, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and just look at it and think, is that the life an exciting man? We're not saying you have to go out every day and carpe diem it and just live this crazy adventure. You need habits to build stability. If you want to get in good shape, which we recommend, you have to hit the gym every day, eat well. But within this, you can have chaos, you can have randomness. So ultimately, at the end, are you living a reality you enjoy? Because if you don't, that needs to change. It's super important.
Yes.
Final point of the nice guy stuff. So nice guys suppress their edge. Every man has sexual intent, assertiveness, playfulness. Nice guys hide it to be a good guy. So they become neutral, predictable, forgettable. We see this a lot. Guys over serious, overthinking. This idea of flirt and be playful with the world is super important. Have fun.
Yeah.
Like when you interact with someone, you don't need to necessarily exchange logical information with everyone. Just say random shit. Make the conversation fun, especially with women. She doesn't care what your job is within the first 2 minutes. You don't care what her job is. So why are you talking about it?
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. Isn't it better to say something playful and see if she vibes with your sense of humor? And this is where we always talk about playful testing for interest.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, all of the talk about jobs and everything, it's all boring. Nobody gives a fuck.
Jobs, politics, religion. I mean, who gives a fucking monkfish, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So now to the dark side. Why dark men, not the color necessarily, could be, but more the personality, appear to win? Not because they're bad, because they naturally display traits that trigger attraction. So they don't seek approval. They're not trying to impress, be liked, or win validation. So they come across as grounded and self-assured. They act like they're fine either way. So the way to instill this is this J. Krishnamurti vibe of, I don't mind what happens, right? So go all in with whatever, but be okay with any outcome. Any other comments on that, Mr. Francis? They don't seek approval.
Not really. Just don't seek approval. That is very true. That is very true.
They take risks. So say what they think, act without overthinking, move things forward. This creates momentum, excitement, even if it's imperfect.
That's a bit like what I was describing with that guy I know, which is not. I mean, it's okay. It's not a huge risk to talk about your dog having a shit in the woods, but it kind of is a bit because you're talking about something that's a bit.
You can polarize. It polarizes, right? Because women, you're not trying to impress her by talking about thinking, oh shit, what's a girl-friendly topic to impress this hot girl, right? You're just saying shit and seeing where the chips land.
Yeah, exactly. Which is in itself non-approval seeking. Because if you're approval seeking, you might be sort of like, so what did you think of the Barbie movie then? Or something, something like that. Whereas you're not going with a girl-friendly topic. You're not going with something that is at all that's going to sort of would normally be thought to ingratiate you with a woman, but you just don't care. And I think that's the key thing, because she doesn't register. She's not bothered about the topic. She just registers, oh, this guy doesn't care. And all these other guys are trying to pussyfoot around me and impress me. And this guy just doesn't give a fuck.
Because most men, what they do, they immediately go into the comfort. So if they meet the hot girl in the work, like in there, working with your friend in the park, walking with a friend in the park, gets introduced. Most guys will immediately go into, oh, hey, Kirsty. So where do you work? Where are you from? What are you doing? Trying to build this closeness to her through rapport.
Yeah.
And actually, she just, why bother? Right?
Yeah.
Just don't do that. Make the conversation fun. And if she doesn't want to buy into it, you just walk off. And she's going to be way more, I mean, I'd be way more attracted to that. And I'm not even into this bloke who's dog shit. Point number 9, they create emotional impact. They're unpredictable, teasy, a bit edgy, so interactions aren't flat. They create feeling, which is what attraction responds to. 100% ruffle the girl's feathers. Teaser. That's the best thing. Teasing should be like breathing. Any girl, you should be constantly, and this is why we say flirt with the world, practice in real life, which is constantly tease people, be playful. Because then when the hot girl's there, lo and behold, not a big deal to do. But if you're very stiff and logical and nice with everyone you speak to, it's very hard then to tease the hot girl. You overthink it. You're kind of a bit like, oh God, what do I do? And it's not going to be calibrated. So there's a method to this madness, isn't it? This is why we say go and be playful with the world and ruffle people's feathers. But in a loving way, not in a negging way, in a trying to add value kind of way.
And again, I think one of the problems with negging as a concept was that guys were using it in a way. They were using it as an outlet for their frustration and anger at women. So it was like, I'm going to neg that bitch, but I'm going to say something to bring her down, And that is just, it's not going to fly. I mean, I don't think it ever really worked back in the day, but it's definitely not going to work now, because why would she tolerate? Why would she entertain that? When she could just get one of the other 500 guys in her DMs.
Was it more of a club thing? Was there a point to it? Because it was like a hot girl in a club and her value was too high. It was never really a day game thing.
It was basically, as far as I understand it, the idea was to sort of try to. This is why people don't like it, because it was to try to bring her value down a bit, so that the playing field was more, I suppose, more level. But isn't a better strategy just to make your value so high that you don't have to do that anyway?
Yeah. And then just to follow on. Yeah.
If you were, again, Leonardo DiCaprio, everyone have a shot. We mentioned him again in the stream. But if you were Leo or somebody like that, you don't have to say to a girl, oh, I like your hair, is it real? Or, oh, your nails are great, I bet they're not real though. Or so. She says, I'm a model. He's like, oh, are you a hand model? Like Leonardo DiCaprio is not going to be doing that, right? Because why would he need to, So if we are trying to if we're trying to present as high value, surely it's better to do what an actual high value guy would do. Leo probably, because he probably meets hundreds of models every day, right? So if the girl says to him, yeah, I'm a model, he's like, oh, right, cool. Okay, well, what else do you do? And that is a better response than trying to sort of bring her down on the topic of being a model. Oh, are you a hand model? Are you a foot model? Oh, okay. And it's like she doesn't quite get it at first. Then she's like, oh, right, yeah, okay. Or she's like, oh, this guy's just trying to devalue me, and then she just walks off, I
mean, it wouldn't work where I am in Brazil. It wouldn't work at all because they don't really do sarcasm. It's a very flirty forward culture. You can tease girls, but that stuff would fall fucking flat anyway. It just wouldn't work culturally. So I think it was an Anglosphere thing, but I think it's fairly outdated now as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely tease women.
I'm not sure it even really ever worked, because the lines that they had for that were so cheesy anyway. I don't think it ever probably really worked anyway, even then. But I think now it just, again, women have got a lot of options, and believe it or not, as much as we're saying women like the bad boys and stuff, they don't really like being blatantly insulted. I mean, they just don't really like it, and they've probably got some hotter dude who's got more money in a 12-pack on a yacht in her DMs.
Stavros, do a shot for Stavros.
Yeah. She's probably got Stavros in her DMs anyway. So why is she going to entertain some idiot who's trying to sort of devalue her in a club or a lounge bar?
Can we get an AI? Can we get one of these streams? We need a kind of representation of this Stavros character. Flowing locks, Greek yacht.
Let me do it. I'll try. Yeah, carry on. I'll try and do one now.
Okay. There's one you found earlier for your wank bank. I mean, for research. They lead. So this is just on the creating emotional impact thing as well, just for guys out there. You can do it in small ways by just not responding to her text straight away, or not if she sends you 2 or 3 questions. It's not like the Spanish Inquisition where you have to answer more logically. Just answer one and just don't even bother with a couple of others, right? You've got to create some uncertainty and tension, right, in there. And the best, you can do this subtly, right? Just not taking a bit longer to reply, sending her stuff that's teasing, going to ruffle her feathers a bit, right? Don't take her too seriously. There's a tendency I think men have where the more they want to fuck the girl, the more they pedestalize her and the more seriously they act around her. it doesn't. You need to do the opposite. The hotter you find the girl, the more you need to chill and relax, detach from the outcome, and ruffle her feathers. And you can do that by just not taking all women particularly seriously, not in a condescending way, in a loving way. Realizing they want to be teased, they want the gift of chasing the eye, they want uncertainty. So taking longer to respond to texts, being unavailable, dating other women, right? Actually having a busy life. These are things women want. And you can fake them if it's, necessary. But ultimately, you just want to be a high value guy on your mission. And naturally, you're not going to have time to immediately pick up the phone, or call her back or whatever. So be a bit unpredictable. Mix unpredictability into the routine. And guys are like, well, that's manufacturing. It's not really me. It's like, well, has really being you got you laid with the women you want? Being a really safe, predictable, nice guy? Don't think so.
Yeah. Fuck being yourself, Jesus.
As Shakespeare said, life is a stage, and we're all actors playing our part. So you play many different roles. You're not going to be the same around your grandmother as you are around your dad, as you are around listening to us on a stream, as you are. Here he is. Jesus, I was stopped mid-track. Look at the state of Stavros.
This is the first sighting of Stavros.
This is what we're competing with, lads. So you need to up your game, right? I'm sorry. I mean, he is a fine-looking specimen, isn't he?
Yeah.
Extremely defined 12-pack, of course. He's called Stavros. There he is. I mean, that's one for the bank, isn't it? Jesus. What can you say? I mean, if he's DMing women, we're all fucked, quite frankly. I'm moving to Mars.
Yeah, the only possible thing that we've got in our favour is maybe some women wouldn't like that long hair. But
yes, that's true. That's true. And hopefully he can't speak English. But actually, that's just for a lot of Anglosphere women, that just adds appeal. But we're not going for Anglosphere women. So hopefully it's not going to matter. Number 10, dark men don't wait for permission. They lead. They don't wait for perfect timing. They lead. They decide, they act, they direct the interaction that reads as certainty. That reads as certainty. So we're talking about creating uncertainty with women, which is make them wait for the reply, create some uncertainty, but then when you're actually with them, or you want to organize something, be decisive. So lead. Torero, it's been 42 minutes. First mention of him, take a shot. Always you say, look, if you can't be asked to learn the game, bollocks, just learn to lead. And he's, to a large degree, he's right. Good Looking Loser's whole thesis, really, his whole Leviathan of work, talks about basically just leaning into rejection, trying to get physical very quickly. It's about leading, right? So just lead, escalate, go for it. It's a very alpha thing if you're not waiting for signals. In a calibrated way, you're grabbing a hand, like, come with me, let's go. She's like, okay, you're leading, right? Or if she might go, oh, no, I'm staying with my friends. Okay, no problem. Next one. Yeah. Right? So stop waiting for permission with life, actually, or with approaching. A lot of guys need permission to approach the girl. It's like,
well, yes,
you're a fucking bloke and you're horny. That's your permission. Now go.
Yeah.
Go and say something.
And that comes up quite a lot because we had a client recently who was talking about this, and he was like, oh, so I'm getting better at noticing signals and things. And I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with recognizing female signals for sure, but he was framing it as though she needed to give these very overt signals before he approached or before he did anything. And of course she doesn't, because the frame is that you are creating your own reality. So the frame is that you make a decision to go and talk to her regardless. Now, if she then rejects you, fine. You just say good, have a good day, and you walk off. But you're not always waiting for somebody's signals or, should I kiss her? I'm just going to wait for that perfect moment when she gives me all the signals, all of the things on the fruit machine line up. It's like if you're waiting for things, if you're waiting for permission from the world, then you miss out on a lot of opportunities,
Couldn't agree more. And yeah. I mean, did you have this?
Stavros is there waiting in the wings.
Look at him. He's looking in, isn't he? He's like, don't wait for permission. That should be the new screensaver.
This is the guy. Any girl that you're talking to now, right? She's also got him in her DMs. Okay. This is why we have to shape up. Okay. This is why we have to take it to the next level. I
mean, he can slip inside me. As far as like Freudian slip. Good looking rooster though.
If anyone still paid attention to our content, people would clip that, wouldn't they? Like, oh, I can't believe these guys are like, look at it, look at this. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
Tuscan Troy,
Split roasted by Stavros. I mean, there's worse fates. Let's be honest. We're both very straight men, but there's worse fates. There are some men that are that good that fair enough. All bets are off. Was there a point in your own game journey where you kind of almost? It was like Paddy McGuinness on this show, Take Me Out, for guys that have seen that, where he hands them the power. He goes, "The power's in your hands." It's that kind of moment. Did you have that where you kind of were like, "Oh shit, I can actually just fucking approach any woman I want, and I don't need fucking permission." Did you have that kind of realization moment, or was that something you were just so horny, you were like, fuck it, just get stuck in straight away?
No. Well, it's certainly, no, I had it almost a couple of times, really, because I had it when I first started approaching in earnest in clubs. And that was pre-learning anything about this stuff. That was just what I was doing, anyway, with alcohol and being, wanting to meet girls. And then when I did learn a bit about the stuff, and I started to do day game, as it was called, still called, and I spoke to somebody. I mean, I always remember the first approach I did was at Euston Station, and it was in the Boots, and the Boots chemist, and I just went up to this woman, and I said, you know what? Excuse me, I just had to say you're beautiful. I think I used it. I don't even think I said. Maybe I didn't even say excuse me, but anyway, it was a sort of quite strong opener at the time. It was like, oh, hey, listen, you're beautiful. Going in there. I mean, whatever. And I before thought, the sky's going to fall in, like the heavens are going to collapse. It's going to be a disaster. And she just smiled and she was just like, oh, wow, that's really nice. That's so nice. That's so cool you said that. Then she showed me her engagement ring. And she's like, actually, I'm getting married. But it was so nice of you to come up and say that to me. So we had a bit of a chat and then that was it. And I went off. But it was great because I was like, it was that realization of like, shit, I actually did that thing and nothing bad happened. In fact, if anything, it was quite a positive little interaction. And I think it was at that moment. And then the dawning realization, you do it again, then you do it again. And it's like, fuck, I could actually talk to anybody. And I think at that point, that point is when it gets sort of fun, but it also gets a little bit almost dangerous because then it becomes almost addictive. Because then you're like, shit, I could literally, anybody that I think is attractive, I could just go and have a conversation with them. And when that's finally put into your hands, it's an enormous power, isn't it? Or it feels like an enormous power.
Yeah, it's like the social shackles, the social chains have been ripped off. I remember John Matrix describing to me that's how it felt when he got in flow state from approaching for the first time. And I kind of agree. It's like shit, everyone becomes an option. John Matrix. Next on the list is they're not attached to outcome. So dark men, in inverted commas, point number 11, are not attached to outcome. They're not thinking, I need this to go well. So they stay relaxed, don't chase, don't overinvest. That lack of neediness is attractive. Neediness is the biggest boner killer for women, right? And guys see a hot girl and start blurting out their life story to her. She doesn't give a fuck, right? Go up, say something, see if she responds. If she does, carry on the conversation, make it mainly about her, tease her, ask for the digits. Oh, she's giving me the number. Great. Okay. Text her, see if she comes out. At no point are you fantasizing about, and you will probably do this at the beginning because you're suddenly like, oh my God, a hot girl's number on my phone. You're almost certain going to fuck it up. But as time goes on, you're just like, it's another number. There's billions of women out there. There's another hot girl around the corner. And that's the energy that actually, ironically, paradoxically gets the girl in. The fact you don't really give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
You want her, but you don't need her. That's the key premise to take.
Yeah, indeed.
Point number. That's it. So any parish notices, there's a quick summary here we'll go through, but we'll do that after maybe some parish notices. Anything worth talking about today? Comment
right. Any questions, put them in the chat now or forever hold your nutsack. Should we consider fake tans to get darker coming from a Northern European white man?
I mean, there's nothing wrong with turning up, it's like something out of the Anywhere's Essex, bright orange for the lads' trip to Colombia.
There's a tanning shop down the road from here, actually. Maybe I should get on board.
I've always been a bit suspicious of these because you will see all the horror stories like bloke roasts himself for 20 minutes in one sunbathe and gets terminal skin cancer. It seems like it's just a bad idea, doesn't it? Better to just get on a plane and go somewhere where the sun naturally shines a bit hotter. I
mean, I have actually done it, but a long time ago. I've done it a few times in the past, but I mean, it's not top of my list now, to be honest. So Peter, that's the best way I can pronounce it, says, I had no problem with women when I was in my 20s, especially when in university. But then I came back home started working my parents' farm, then extended to build it out, and women just vanished. Yeah, the farmers who tuned into this seem to be having a bad time, because we had some people yesterday who were, well, they were trolling, I think, but they were talking about milk farming and how difficult it is for milk farmers to do day games. So if you work in agriculture, it seems like it's tough out there, unfortunately.
Yes, I don't know whether this is slightly trollish comment, but the obvious thing is, if you're living in the middle of nowhere, of course women have vanished. I mean, it's not, and the cow, Daisy the cow, literally becomes a bit more appealing with those multiple items. Wouldn't recommend it. Move to civilization, or even better, join us. You sound like you could be Polish. We're going to be in Warsaw in May. So come down, send us an email, troy@alltroyfrance.com, info@jamestuss.com. Join us in May for our inaugural biannual Warsaw boot camp, which is always really, really good. Some of the hottest women in the world, all based in Warsaw. Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian, and of course Polish women in the summer skipping around in very short feminine outfits. It's fantastic. There's a reason it's on there there's a reason Rio Carnival's on there every year. There's a reason Bogota is on there every year and on the schedule, and there's a reason that Warsaw is on there every year.
Yeah, Warsaw is one of the best places in the world, I think.
And we've had some fantastic experiences there. I mean, we only take guys to places where we've actually had genuine success as well, because otherwise what's the point, right? But there's something for everything.
Which is why we're not doing events in, like, Estonia or Riga or places like that.
Estonia, one of the most overrated place I think ever to
it's interesting how many people ask about it on these streams, though, isn't it? Like,
well, again, Torero talks about it once, and and people are obsessed with the secret location, and so it's seen to be the secret location, but the reality is it's just a rainy dump. And there are some girls, but it's very traditional and it's very small, and you're not going to be living this porn star fantasy of banging 5 girls in a sauna. It's just, that's not what it's the reality of Tallinn away is. Now, if you were to go to Helsinki, which we do recommend, very promiscuous hot women in summer, it's absolutely worth doing a trip over from Helsinki to Tallinn, because you get a ferry over, and from Helsinki it's an hour, and you go into Tallinn for a couple of days. It can be fun to charge around. I remember back in the day when I first started going to Helsinki, me and a friend just got caught up in this random university pub crawl. I was a bit older. I wasn't this age. I wasn't 39, but I must have been 30, and we were drinking in a bar, and it just happened to be, this end of term Helsinki pub crawl that was Helsinki University, and they were like, "Where are you from?" And we were like, "London." They're like, "Drink with us. I bet you can't drink." And I was like, "Challenge." So we started just hammering shots, and we end up just getting leathered in Helsinki, but then we get him on the ferry and go over to Tallinn for a night out. And it was wild. It was a lot of fun. So, not diminishing, Tallinn can be fun, but if you're going there exclusively thinking, right, put my lucky day game blazer on, let's slay Tallinn, you're probably going to be disappointed. But combining it possibly with Helsinki for a couple of days, yeah, sure, why not?
Just walking around those sort of historic, medieval streets just on your own with your day game backpack on. And your day game
100% going to be raining and cold and wet. It doesn't matter what time of year you go. And you're going to get a couple of nice reactions, but you're going to go to the supermarket kind of a bit, bit wet, go in. There's going to be kind of random babushkas that live there. You're going to buy a pack of quavers, go out, see a dog, do the thing. Yeah. I mean, it's just,
Yeah, get with the program. So this guy, not guilty, do you think the London day game model is still relevant? He must not be a regular viewer of our stuff, because we do talk about this stuff quite a lot. But I mean, I think it's relevant. I mean, it's a conversational structure. He then goes on to say, recently been listening to Tom Torero's work. Everyone take a shot. Feels timeless, but curious to your opinion. Well, we talk about this stuff a lot, but maybe you don't watch the streams.
That's a good question, though. Maybe do you want to cover that in as succinct an answer as you possibly can?
Well, yes, I do think it's still relevant, because it's basically a conversational structure. It's not lines. It's not you have to say you're French or she's French or anything like that. It's just a conversational structure of 5 parts. So in that sense, yeah, absolutely relevant. However, do we stick slavishly to it? Absolutely not. We mess around with it. We leave bits out. We mix around the order. It's a good thing to have in mind at the beginning, so that you know where you are in a conversation, for sure. But is it the cure-all that's going to get you to become some kind of slayer in 2026? No, probably not, because things have moved on significantly since then. But as a conversation, it's good.
Yeah, it's very, so just to outline it quickly, what you do is you give a compliment and then you stack on the girl. So to do with her clothing or her vibe, whatever, you know, and you're talking, the point of the conversation is because to keep it about her and make it playful. Because a lot of guys, what they do is they see the girl, they go up, go, "You're hot," and then they just stand there asking millions of questions. And obviously, you're building no value. The girl's like, "What the fuck's this?" Whereas if you go up, go, "You caught my eye. What I noticed about you was X, Y, Z, T, Z. You must be from France." And she goes, "I'm from Spain." You go, "Oh, when I think of Spain," and you go, you riff. You're providing value in a playful kind of almost stand-up way, but the audience isn't drunk men in a bar; it's her. And it avoids you going into kind of needy questions, and you're riffing and you're having fun. And she feels like, oh, this guy's got something to him. She asks you a question, and that's your cue to dial into normal back and forth rapport. There is absolute use for this for beginners, because quite frankly, they don't know what they're doing conversationally. But after a while, when you've been doing this for a while, you want to throw the structure away and just be able to free flow with the idea in mind that you understand the principles of attraction, and you understand when the conversation is shifted into, oh, let's get to know each other, and then you understand when to ask for the number or to go on an instant date.
Yeah, it's an outline, isn't it? It's like scaffolding. So in that sense, it's useful.
And there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes I'll fall back to it when I'm just a bit rusty or whatever. Nothing springs to mind.
Well, I was walking down towards Leicester Square the other day, and somebody did the classic. He ran up to me and sort of ran slightly in front and was like, "Oh, excuse me, you look French." I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, it's funny how many guys think like that. I've been stopped in central London by guys day gaming me, thinking it's funny, and well, it is quite funny, but thinking I've never had that before. And they run up and they go around, "Can I tell you something really?" And it's just.
And then he was like, "Oh, have you been out?" And it's like, well, yeah, I'm out. I don't live in the street. He goes, "Oh, have you been out? Yeah, how long have you been out for?" I was like, "Well, I'm like, oh, do you mean do day game? What are you talking about? Have you not heard of crumpled notes? Jesus Christ."
or the Brazilian, I looked it up the other day. I was like, how do I say this in Portuguese? For Portuguese speakers out there, it's nota amassada, crumpled note. Nothing can't be solved in Brazil with a
it's
nota.
Like, no, man, you're 10 years behind.
Yeah, catch up. It's crumpled notes for now.
But also as well, I've seen a couple of times, because with the slightly better weather now coming into London, I've seen a couple of day gamers have crawled out from under the rock. So I saw a bloke the other day in Soho, fairly short Indian gentleman who'd stopped two quite attractive looking girls, and he was doing a bit of banter with them, but it wasn't. I often linger out of curiosity when that happens to try and listen into a bit of it, and it didn't seem to be setting the world on fire, I have to say. It was very much like, "Oh, so what's your name? Okay, what's your name? So, what are you guys up to?" It was that kind of thing, And they were just standing there like kind of.
I do miss the days. Of just, the halcyon days of day game,
But it's like when when the weather gets a bit better, and then suddenly like all the flies start to come out, and stuff like this. It's a bit like that. The day gamers start to come out from their hibernation, sort of.
Appearing out of nowhere. Yeah. So just any more parish notices?
More farm banter. I'm so conflicted at 33. Do I buy a house now, or do I rent a room and go on holiday every weekend, month? Question from nice guy who doesn't mind finishing last. Don't really care about women. Sorry.
Well, you've answered your own question there. Okay, next.
Yeah. I was feeling down this morning. Thanks for the cheer up. No problem.
Dirty Den, do you remember him from EastEnders?
Yeah. Sharon, this is my pub. Or was that was somebody else, wasn't it? Okay. What about the capitalists and major money monopolies that create false narratives to deprive people of true reality? What?
Not our wheelhouse. Next question.
Southern Italy. Difficult place.
Italy for me is a bit of a dud, and not because it doesn't have attractive women, but because basically I've tried to stay again there a few times, hasn't really worked. They don't really. There's not that kind of curiosity they get from foreigners that they.
No, I think for us as English people, I would say a lot of Western Europe is. I mean, it's not that you can't. I mean, you talk about Barcelona a lot, and Spain's a great country, but
ironically, I'm not actually hitting on Spanish girls. It's tourists, right?
Spain's a great country, but Yeah, I think most of Western Europe is. It's not that you can't make things happen there. It's just that you don't really have much of a competitive advantage. Because if you go to Germany, they don't fuck. You know, they don't care. They're like, oh, some bloke from England. Oh, that's the poor relation. They just don't care. You know. Whereas we go to some of these other places and we've got more exotic value. Is cold approach dead in London? Do you recommend doing it anywhere if it's your only option? Well, that's all we talk about on the entire channel. That's like saying, oh, I don't know. If there was a YouTube channel about milk farming, and then you went on there and you said, "Is milk farming dead, or do you still recommend doing it?" No, that's the whole fucking purpose of the only reason we're doing these streams is to push the idea of meeting people in real life. So yeah, absolutely do it. And also, it's not dead. I saw some bloke doing it the other day. I mean, people are doing it all the time. Both people who are weird sort of day gamers, and also just normal people who just like talking to other people. And
that's the key. Become the normal person who enjoys conversation with other people and don't even think about it, and it will take care of itself if you're willing just to be social as fuck. Every day, just wake up and be like, right, what's the most playful social version I could be, and act as if, and you will get results without worrying any really at all about theory. In my opinion.
Do you think game triumphs, or I think he means trumps, looks, personality, status, and money? No, not really. I think status trumps all of it. But game is, we've talked about this many times, game is the necessary glue with all of this stuff. Because
really, they're all important. You want to max out every category.
Yeah.
But specifically, and yeah.
Fully agree on Bogota overall, but why pick so much time in Bogota over Cali or Pereira? Is that Pereira? I remember you said the Gringo factor is even bigger, cheap there, etc. Amenities in favour back.
So it's a volume issue. Bogota is the capital city, although most people probably think it's Medellin. Medellin, you've hit the nail on the head. Gringo factor is massive in Bogota because there's not many gringos, and there's a volume of hot women. So it's great for day game, great for nights out. Pereira, Manizales, Ibagué, the coffee region is awesome for a long weekend, but it's a more small town feel, and there are opportunities on the weekend, but it's just a bit, the population size isn't there. You could have a good time there for a few weeks if you really pushed it, but honestly, as a base, Bogota is better, and actually just for volume of hot women, Bogota is better. But absolutely, if you get the chance, go to Bogota and then get a plane over to Pereira, Manizales. The gringo factor is very high. You'll have a lot of fun, but I wouldn't personally base myself there. I like to be in places where there's volume of people, it's happening, there's nights out, it's less village feel, you know?
Yeah. One more, or should we finish?
Sure, if there's one more.
Well, Andrew has peppered the chat with loads of them, but there's another one here. Do you mind spending decent cash on dates, $100 to $200? I'll keep them simple. No, I mean, at first, no, you don't want to be spending that.
I mean, that's surely not a serious question, spending $200 on a first date, isn't it? Is it?
I don't know.
I mean, where are you taking them? What cocktail, what Salt Bay spin-off restaurant are you taking them for that? I mean, that's an extreme amount of money to be spending, unless it's in crumpled note format, and then I fully approve.
No. Weatherspoons, £5.60, pint of Ruddles, jobs are good. And
I once took a bird on a date to Weatherspoons in an airport. Can you believe it? I just randomly clocked eyes with her. She's coming out the exit at the same time as me in the airport, where all the people stand, the taxi drivers. And we got chatting, and then there's a Weatherspoons on the out, as you leave, and we just went in there and had an instant date. It was quite funny. And a pint of Guinness cost about 25 quid. Don't drink in airports. So
normal day game. Normal day game. Well, I don't know where it's coming from. Normal day game is nonsense. Embrace the lifestyle. Always wear your leather jacket and your leather pants. Make sure to bring your day game rucksack and pack lunch, cheese sandwiches and crushing.
You know where he's coming from. This bloke comments every day he's a great wine-up merchant. We know not to take this.
No, but I think he's right, isn't he, with this? Because the old conception of what day game is incredibly dated, and just you should be trying to get away from the weird ghettoization of it and into normality. This is where,
and actually just segueing it back to the Torero thing, is any of his stuff outdated? This is probably where we would disagree with Torero, because he was always about money is not important. And I'd say it absolutely is. You want to be able to get on a plane, travel anywhere in the world, go and hit on women you like, stay in a nice hotel, bring them out to a nice bar. If you can't afford to do that, you're gonna be struggling. Like, women, it doesn't matter where you are, like to go to nice venues. They like to be able to have a drink paid for them. They like to be able to dress up nice. They don't want to sit in the equivalent of a Yates in Bogota with you. You know, so you do need money. You do need some money. You don't want to be traveling around by yourself in a van. Yes, there may be a certain subsection of women who finds it somewhat kinky, I guess. But you're going to rule a lot of fucking women out if you're broke living in a van by yourself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she's even worse. Right.
Let's summarize then. I've got just a quick summary of this for guys that missed the whole stream. So, okay. Thank you, Corp. Yes, this is you, the dick in hand dentist that never got in touch for coaching when we've been through this nice guy behavior months ago. And now you're asking more theoretical mind won't questions. Naughty boy. Get in touch with Troy. Go out with him in London. You're based in London.
Troy at realtroyfrancis.com. I haven't in Manchester recently, no. But why would you, if you're in London, why would you consider Manchester, which is a city?
He's probably got some social engagement there, and he's thinking, right, I could sneak out.
Absolutely. Give it a go. But population size is important. You've got about 500,000 people in Manchester compared to 10 million in London. I mean, you do the math, which is going to be better, which has the more opportunities. But
that being said, I would, guys that do have to travel for work, you work for a company or whatever, I absolutely do commend, if you're in a random city, just walk out the fucking hotel if you got time and go and walk around the streets and do some reps, because it's a very fun way of just being social and traveling. It's a lot of fun. So I've contacted Troy, no response. Mr. Troy.
Sorry, man. The ball has been dropped. I'll look through for your email after this, but if you wouldn't mind resending it, just so it goes to the top of my inbox.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to. I was unduly spanking Fenky Corp, but he's not in the wrong with this one. Fair enough.
Well, I'm gonna get 5 corrected. Sorry about that.
Let me just summarize the key points from this stream. Yeah, get in touch again, and Troy will have a chat. Dark men win is misleading. So uncontrolled dark traits fail long term. If a guy's unreliable, selfish, emotionally chaotic, he might create short-term attraction, but he loses trust, consistency, and long-term interest. The real answer, it's not nice guy or dark triad clown. It's self-respect plus honesty plus an edge. Kind but not approval seeking. Direct, not indirect. Calm but not passive. Playful, not try hard. The real mistake men make. They think the choice is be nice or be a complete dick. It's wrong. The real problem is needing to be liked. That's what kills attraction. The shift from how do I get her to like me to I express myself and see if this works. Nice guys don't lose because they're nice. They lose because they're indirect, approval seeking, and afraid to lead. And dark men don't win because they're bad. They win because they don't need permission to be themselves. That's it.
Absolutely. So get in touch. Join us in Bogota.
info@jamesplus.com, Troy at realtroyfrance.com. We've got Bogota House of Seduction coming up. Just to recap, 16th to 22nd of April, a luxury pad that's going to accommodate 8 clients. Myself, Troy, Les, and David Garcia in town coaching it. Wing girls coming out with us every night to open other girls, bring them to the table. We've got a couple of guest speakers in the house. Justin from the Dominance Academy is going to be teaching some light BDSM stuff on a model demoing. We're going to have Eddie, the habits guy in town, helping you guys relax your nervous systems as well. Stavros will be watching over us to make sure we're actually doing stuff because we don't want to disappoint the big man. And it's going to be a riot, 18th to 22nd of April. Get in touch. It's going to be fucking phenomenal. I'm really excited about this one. This is the big one. And then if you can't make it to Latin America, May, Warsaw will be the European leg of 2026.
Absolutely. Andrew, final way, just Airbnbs or hotels, pros and cons for you guys. It depends what the location is. I really like hotels, but sometimes Airbnbs are better. It just depends the duration. It's specific to location, I would say.
Yes. Cool.
See you later. Sayonara.